Why would billionaires who can buy anything they want willingly dive into debt? It's a puzzling question, isn't it? This question brings us to the heart of a fascinating paradox. The rich, who have the means to live debt-free, often choose to carry significant debt. On the surface, this seems to fly in the face of conventional financial wisdom that advises us to avoid debt like the plague. But as we dig deeper, we begin to unravel the mystery. You see, not all debt is created equal. There's an important distinction between good debt and bad debt, a concept that is crucial to understanding the billionaire's penchant for borrowing. Bad debt is what most of us think of when we hear the word debt. It's the credit card balance that keeps growing, the high-interest loan that seems impossible to pay off. It's the kind of debt that keeps you awake at night, wondering how you're going to make ends meet. But then, there's good debt. This is the kind of debt that billionaires and other wealthy individuals love. Good debt is an investment that will generate income or increase in value over time. It's the mortgage on a rental property that brings in monthly income, the student loan for a degree that leads to a high-paying job, or the business loan for a startup that's poised for success. The rich understand that good debt can be a powerful tool for building wealth. It's like a lever that can be used to lift a heavy weight with less effort. By borrowing money at a low interest rate and investing it in opportunities that yield a higher return, they can effectively multiply their wealth. So, this is the secret. The rich don't just love debt, they love good debt. They strategically use debt as a tool to leverage their wealth and increase their financial power. They understand that good debt is a friend, not a foe, a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. So if you thought debt was just for those struggling to make ends meet, think again. Ever heard of Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Believe it or not, he loves debt. Yes, you heard it right. The celebrated author, investor, and financial literacy advocate Robert Kiyosaki has often been quoted saying, "There is good debt and bad debt." He's not alone in this sentiment. Many of the world's wealthiest individuals share this perspective. Consider another famous name, Donald Trump. Yes, the business magnate and former president of the United States. There's a reason he's been dubbed the king of debt. Trump has often touted debt as a fantastic tool to leverage his investments and increase his wealth. He's been known to say, "I love debt." How do they do it, you ask? Here's the thing. The rich use debt as a tool, not as a burden. They borrow money at a low interest rate and invest it in ventures that yield higher returns. This difference in rates is their profit. It's a calculated risk, but one that has proven to be incredibly lucrative for them. For instance, if you borrow money at an interest rate of 2% and invest it in a venture that yields 6%, you're effectively making a 4% profit. This is how the rich use debt to their advantage. They make their money work for them, instead of working for their money. This isn't to say that they're reckless with their borrowings. On the contrary, the rich are often meticulous with their financial planning. They understand the risks and rewards of borrowing and ensure they have a clear strategy in place before they dive in. They treat debt as a tool to accelerate their wealth creation, not as an anchor that weighs them down. It's an intriguing concept, isn't it? The idea of using debt as a tool to increase wealth, rather than viewing it as a burden to be avoided. This is a stark contrast to how most people perceive debt. But it's the way the rich think about and use debt that sets them apart. Intriguing, isn't it? The rich actually use debt to get richer. Yes, the rich love debt, but remember, it's not just about loving debt. It's about understanding it, managing it, and using it to your advantage. Now you might be wondering, isn't all debt bad? Well, not if you ask the rich. Let's dissect this further. The concept of good and bad debt is not as black and white as it may seem. It's more about understanding the underlying principles and using them to your advantage. Good debt, for instance, is a type of debt that can generate income or increase in value over time. It's like a seed that you plant, knowing it will grow into a fruit-bearing tree. Imagine investing in real estate. You take out a loan to purchase a property, and then you rent it out. The rent you collect is income, and as the property appreciates in value, so does your wealth. That's good debt at work. Education is another example of good debt. You might take a student loan to get a degree, but that degree can open doors to higher-paying jobs. The income you earn can far outweigh the initial debt, making it a valuable investment in your future. But then, there's bad debt. This is the kind of debt used to purchase liabilities, things that take money out of your pocket. Take credit card debt, for instance. You might use your credit card to buy a fancy new gadget or to splurge on an extravagant vacation. These purchases don't generate income or appreciate in value. Instead, they leave you with a debt that you need to pay off, often with high interest. Car loans are another typical example of bad debt. Cars depreciate in value the moment you drive them off the lot. So, while you're paying off your loan, the value of your car is steadily going down. That's a classic case of bad debt. So, the secret is not in avoiding debt altogether, but in understanding which type of debt to embrace and which type to avoid. Understanding the difference between good and bad debt can be a game changer in your financial journey. And who knows, you might even start loving debt, just like the rich do. Billionaire real estate mogul Donald Trump once declared, "I am the king of debt. I love debt." But why would he say that? This brings us to the power of leverage. In financial terms, leverage is the strategy of using borrowed money to increase the potential return of an investment. It's like using a lever to lift a heavy object. A small amount of force can move a large load. Similarly, a small amount of your own money, when combined with a larger amount of borrowed money, can control a much larger investment. Now let's take a closer look at how this works. Imagine you have $100,000 and you decide to invest it all in a property. If the property's value increases by 10%, you've made a profit of $10,000. Not bad, right? But what if instead, you use that $100,000 as a down payment on 5 properties, each worth $200,000, and borrowed the remaining money? Now, if each property's value increases by 10%, you've made a profit of $50,000. That's the power of leverage. Wealthy individuals like Donald Trump understand this concept well. They use debt as a tool to control assets that they might not be able to afford outright. They leverage their money to make more money. But it's important to remember that while leverage can amplify gains, it can also amplify losses. If the value of our properties decreases, the losses are multiplied across all the properties we've invested in. This is why it's crucial to exercise caution and prudence when using borrowed money for investments. So, the next time you hear someone say they love debt, remember they're not talking about the kind of debt that comes from overspending on credit cards. They're talking about strategic, calculated debt used to leverage their wealth and increase their potential returns. So, debt isn't just a tool for survival, it's a strategic weapon in the arsenal of the rich. Scene script. Are you ready to think like a billionaire? Let's delve into the secret strategy of using debt. It's not about reckless spending, but strategic planning. At its core, the debt strategy is all about financial literacy. It's understanding that not all debts are created equal. There's bad debt, that's the stuff that keeps you up at night, and then there's good debt, the kind that works for you. Good debt is used to acquire assets that generate income, like real estate or a business. This income can then be used to pay off the debt, and whatever is left is pure profit. Risk management plays a vital role in this strategy. It's like playing chess. Every move needs to be calculated, every potential outcome considered. This is where financial advisors come into play. These professionals can help assess the risks and guide you in making informed decisions. Remember, even the wealthiest people consult with financial advisors. They know that 2 heads are better than 1, especially when it comes to managing money. Research is another crucial component of the debt strategy. Before diving into debt, it's essential to thoroughly research the asset you're planning to invest in. Knowledge is power, and in this case, it's also profit. The more you know about an investment, the better equipped you are to make it work for you. But let's not forget the most important part of the debt strategy: investing in income-generating assets. This could be anything from a rental property to a small business. The goal is to have these assets cover your debt payments and then some. This way you're not just breaking even, you're making a profit. And there you have it, the secret strategy of using debt. It's not about borrowing money and hoping for the best. It's about understanding the financial game and playing it to your advantage. Remember, the rich don't just love debt. They know how to use it wisely, and now so do you.